A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, in a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole, filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, but on the edge of the galactic empire, it was a period of civil war, thus ushering in a new hope. I have no idea what it is that I just did there, but it was fun. Actually, one of the things that I just mashed up in that I did a thingness is the new theme that we are starting today. And I'm going to tell you more about all of that in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudzers? Welcome back to the channel. You're at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 86 of 365 days of soap. You know, year 2. And yeah, we're starting a new theme today. And that theme is called Star Wars. And we're actually, the next theme that's coming up is also an equally cool theme. And we kind of wanted to do them to get, not the point. Ultimately, I thought that the Soaprentice had much more Star Wars knowledge than I did. And so when she was like down and had already designed so many of the soaps, I'm like, well, do you just want to tackle this one and I'll do the next theme, because she knows nothing about it. You know how it goes. And so that's what we're doing. The Star Wars theme is going to be completely the Soaprentice's job. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of these bars, in action. Now, we're also starting out with a new scent company that we are doing blind soaping tests on. And this scent came from one of the Sudzers, and it is Be Scented, or JustScents. Yeah, no, it's JustScent. Yeah. And I have never worked with them. As soon as I saw the website after the Soaprentice had picked out the scents that she wanted and I went in to order them, I went, oh, why does this look like wholesale supplies? And why do I have a really bad feeling as a result? Like, no hate on wholesale supplies. It's just their shipping times are always, always very long. And I think they're kind of known for it at this point. It's the running joke. And so I'm like, well, we need to start this series like yesterday. And so I really hope they have good shipping times. Luckily they did, so that's great. But we also get to play with new scents that we've never played with before. So that's what we're doing today. Let's go to the video and we can talk about the first of 9 bars. 9 movies, 9 bars. It all makes sense. There's always a method to the madness-ish. And it is called A Long Time Ago. So yeah, it actually, that title screen, it turns out that was one of the hardest things that they had to do in the original 3 Star Wars movies, was figure out how to film that title screen. Because, there were no computers, no editing software to do this back then. And so they were filming, like, from what I can tell, like a literal, like, piece of paper or some shit. I don't know, but one of the film people did an interview about that and said that filming that title screen was actually big hard. And then after the, computers and software and thing became kind of mainstream and they could recreate this all on a computer, they had never taken notes on how they shot it with like the angles of the whatever. And so the new film people had to go back and rewatch all the old Star Wars a whole bunch of times to figure out how it was done so they could recreate it on the computer, which is wild. And, you know, cool. That's cool little factoid information. But now with the power of, editing software, I can just plop that right into my video and, be kind of cheeky in the things that I'm saying as well. And that's great. It's a good time. So the Soaprentice decided that she wanted to do a Star Wars theme thing, guys. And so that's what she's doing. Now for the next 9 soaps, we are going to be using, because 9 movies, right? Makes sense. We are going to be using some scents from JustScent.com. That. And you guys had suggested this in a community post that we try JustScents. And so I went ahead and told the Soaprentice to go onto the website and figure out what she wanted to use for the soaps that she wanted to make for the Star Wars line. And this particular soap that she's making is actually titled A Long Time Ago. And she's making the galaxy far, far away. And she is using effervescent fizzy pops for that because that kind of sounds like, stars and galaxies and flaming balls of fire and stuff, right? I can get with that. Now, she did all of this and she sent this to me, the list, and then I went on to JustScents.com to order all of these scents. And the second I got onto this website, I'm like, oh, this is Wholesale Supplies Plus. And I got big nervous, okay? Because Wholesale Supplies Plus, as we all know, notorious for long shipping times, A. And 2, really overpriced. But the reason that they're overpriced is because they're always having sales, and so you just always only buy things that are on sale. So anyway, yeah, I looked down at the about, and it turns out, yeah, recently they were purchased. They may have been owned by themselves at some point, but Wholesale Supplies Plus now owns JustScent.com. And it looks like the vanillin content in this is 1.9% in this effervescent fizzy pops, which is something to keep in mind in a pour because that means it's likely going to discolor somewhat. But again, we have never worked with JustScents. We've never actually worked with a single scent from Wholesale Supplies either. So this could be a very, very weird soap series. So let's go check out this pour. Okay, and on to the pour of this, and my microphone quality just completely changed because my microphone was not plugged in for the last part, and I was just using the computer to pick that up, and I didn't realize it. And I'm not going to go back and re-record that bit because I will never remember what I said. And no, so we're just going to go on to talk about the pour of this, and again using JustScent and the effervescent fizzy pops from JustScent. And the notes say lime, sweet pineapple, lemon, and orange. Nuances of gardenia and rose meld with lemongrass and a subtle vanilla at the base. Just like the fizzy Pop Rocks candy you loved as a kid. Okay, that all sounds delightful. Cool. I personally haven't smelled any of this stuff. So I don't know if any of it matches what its description is. And for the soaping notes, which actually do exist on JustScent.com, it says no acceleration, no water discount, no discoloration. Cool. I love that for us, for sure. I also love all the weird things that she's created out of, looks like soap dough and some melt and pour and all of the things there that I guess she's just going to shove into this soap at various stages. Gonna make some cool galaxy with all of this, which is awesome. Remember the galaxy that she made for Grocket, for the Marvel, the Rocket and Groot bar? that was cool. But she actually used melted melt and pour in that and made a proper hybrid. So she's doing this all out cold process for this. And that's awesome. And I am here for this for the first time right along with you guys. So I did the edit on this, but it was a very rough edit. And actually I'm picking up some things that I needed to cut out as we're going with this. So I have not seen this pour. I have not seen the cut. I have not seen the soaps. I have not smelled the soaps. I have done none things at this point. So I am right here with you. And that's beautiful. I love that for sure. But yeah, the galaxy far, far away, the long time ago. That title screen bothers me. So many things about Star Wars bother me, just first and foremost, okay? And I'm the type of person who likes to know everything there is to know about things, especially when you're talking about big fantasy lore, right? Fantasy, sci-fi lore, just big other worlds. I love that. I want to know all of the things all of the time. But one of the things that always bothered me about that title screen was you could never read it, which is why I made mine so fast. You also can't read it. Because also, who actually reads the title screen in anything? I've put out some very questionable titles in my videos, and nobody has commented and been like, haha, I got the joke, or, whatever. Nobody reads that shit. But for those of us that do, why were there 4 dots? Right? Like after a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there were 4 dots. So an ellipsis plus a period, or maybe a period plus an ellipsis. And then it occurs at the end of that title screen too. And at the end of the title screen, I guess it sort of makes sense because it's like the end of the sentence, period, and then an ellipsis, which is 3 dots, essentially saying that, the movie itself is going to be the ... Like it's going to fill in the ... And I guess it makes sense at the end. But at the beginning, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, why are there 4 dots? That doesn't make any sense. And I remember somebody saying something about like Flash Gordon or something. And George Lucas was into Flash Gordon, and that's how those titles were done. And so it was like an homage, but well, what that means is that Flash Gordon got it wrong too. Whatever in the shit Flash Gordon is. I don't know what Flash Gordon is, by the way. Sorry. But I mean, superhero of some kind, right? But was that like a cartoon? Was that like a live action superhero? Was it a show? I don't know. This was well before my time. I mean, this thing was well before my time, this Star Wars thing. So I don't know. When was Star Wars made? When was Flash Gordon made? Star Wars was made in 1977. Now, this is another issue with Star Wars because the common, and I guess one of the issues that I have, because the common misconception about Star Wars is that it was based on a book, but not so. Not so. It was not based on a book. However, a crap ton of really great fan fiction came as a result of these movies. So books were made, I think comic books and stuff too, were made because of these movies that actually ended up, I don't know, making the backstory richer and having more interesting stuff in it really than what this movie ultimately did. But the common misconception is that this was based on a book, and the reason people think that is because George Lucas's book, who he had a ghostwriter for it, right? But it was his book. It was basically a book based off of the screenplay that he had a ghostwriter for, came out 6 months before this movie was released in theaters. And the reason why, that's why everybody assumed that it was based on a book, because it came out 6 months before the movie, but the movie was supposed to be a holiday blockbuster, and it got pushed back to be a summer blockbuster. And so, no, Star Wars was not based on a book. Okay, and on to the cut of this, and let's see, it looks pretty shiny, got some weird purpling going on in there, which is to be expected. We've got pink and purple and blues and all the galaxy cool colors in here, so there's going to be some purples. And as far as the scent goes on these, the Soaprentice is definitely going to have to weigh in with her opinions on all of this. As I said, I did not smell any of these, but just watching the pour doesn't seem like anything went wrong. So I love that. And that's cool. Look, it's like a galaxy. There are planets and moons, stars, a lot of cool stuff. I can get behind that for sure. That's a great way to start a Star Wars series, I think. I think another great way to start a Star Wars series is for somebody to explain to me why there are 4 dots. Because there should be the 1. And also, why people still continue to believe that, you know, this book or this movie was based on a book. I love movies that are based on books. I want to go back and read the books. But the thing is, this one was not based on a book. It was based on a screenplay that George Lucas wrote and had a ghostwriter turn it into a book. And so it was all still George Lucas. But the fanfic, again, I've already said it, but I have to continue to really, really drive that point home. The fan fiction that came from this was unbelievable. Like, they created really excellent backstories and made this universe very cool. I think up to and including, like, George Lucas himself was turning to fan fiction in the later movies to kind of help him flesh out the next part of the story. So to that, I think it's awesome for sure. But I mean, Star Wars in and of itself is of course awesome. I'm not like shitting on Star Wars with any of this. I'm not saying that. I'm just, why 4 dots? That's my biggest, that's my grievance. And I think that's probably going to be the only grievance that I have. But I remember seeing this when I was a child and it was like, but why are there 4 dots? That's not what an ellipsis is supposed to be. But that is day 86, a long time ago. And there it is, the a long time ago bar, and I think that that is a perfect galaxy representation. So that's awesome. I'm totally here for that. Absolutely. And it's cool because the Soaprentice has done essentially 2 galaxy soaps in the past couple months. And instead of just dialing it in and doing the exact same thing she did for the Grocket bar, she did this. And it's cool. I like it a lot, for sure. Scent is actually pretty good on this one at the end. This is one that it was clever in the name selection, like why she chose to use this one. And also it smells nice. And so that's a big win all around for sure. As you know, if you are interested in any of these bars, you cannot get them until the series is over. So once all 9 bars, and then you know that the last thing is released, then they will all be available at soapandclay.com. If you are interested in anything else at soapandclay.com, it's there, do the things for sure. And that does it for me. Like, as always, I thank my sudsers for coming and hanging out with me. And, you know, let me know in the comments what you're hoping to see in the Star Wars series. And we'll see if you're right. But I am glad that you guys joined me for another round of 365 days of soap. And I will see you again for another round of soapy fun. Bye. My inflection was so weird with that.